One of those. I mean,
he became a general, I believe. And
incredible guy.
So I think that's a very, very excellent historical case. There's just no shortage of current cases happening. I think the Stephenville, Texas case has potential to be one of the most important of our recent history because of the number of witnesses, the caliber of the number of these people who've come forth to talk, and the fact that this is an investigation still ongoing. And in the Stephenville case, this is yet another in a long line of confrontational accounts. That is, you've got F-16 jets chasing this, by all accounts, enormous, just gargantuan-sized object that's just not supposed to exist. And you got upwards of 50 people who said they saw this happen. The Air Force, who would want to be the poor Air Force guy to have to talk to the public about this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The Air Force originally said, no, they probably just saw the reflection of a landing commercial airliner. And all the witnesses, no, that's insane. And what I think was going to happen, maybe you can correct me on this, but it looked to me that it was going to come out that F-16s were in the area. What the Air Force did was to say, oh, well, yeah, we did have a couple of F-16s there out on a training mission. So the Air Force did corroborate the existence of F-16s. And now what we need to do is corroborate the huge thing that was described by one witness as a flying Walmart.
Exactly.
So I think the Stephenville case, that's just January 2008, that this is a very important case. I also believe the O'Hare case of November of 2006, it's gotten, just like Stephenville, it's gotten major media attention. You know, the thing that makes a case important to me is it's twofold. One is you need good supporting evidence for it, obviously. That's key. But the other thing is that if it is able to get some public traction in some way, that makes it important as well, obviously, because from a public relations point of view, it becomes very important. So I think the Stephenville and O'Hare cases are important. And then, of course, go back to 2002, not that long ago, still post-9/11 America, right outside Washington, D.C., there were a number of people who saw late at night more F-16s chasing a bluish type of object that, by all accounts, totally outmaneuvered them as well. And that's, I think, the main witnesses were in Waldorf, Maryland, which is just a quick drive out of D.C. And I spoke to one of those witnesses myself, Rennie Rogers, and there were a number of other people who called in that sighting to their local radio station. So, you know, as I was saying earlier in this interview, George, there's many facets of the UFO phenomenon that are very interesting. But one thing that I try not to lose sight of is the fact that our military is chasing these things, and that's important because
and can't catch them.
We can't catch them. And if these are a secret terrestrial, you know, something from the black budget, a deeply secret program, then my question is, why are our militaries constantly chasing them? I mean, if it's a U.S. secret program, then what's going on here with scrambling our jets year after year to try to track these things down? This makes no sense to me. You know, does it make sense to you?
Nope, not at all. Let's take some calls. You ready, Richard?
As ready as I'll ever be.
West of the Rockies. Let's go to you, Tony, in Upland, California.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi.
I'm calling in just to let you know about an experience that I had when I was about 14 years old. Don't get surprised now, but this happened to me in Coyame, Mexico. I don't know if that rings a bell.
Mexico or New Mexico? I didn't hear you.
Mexico.
Okay.
Coyame, Mexico, northern Chihuahua.
Okay.
And I had no idea about this UFO crash until about maybe 2 years ago. I did at one time report to MUFON LA about what happened to me when I was a kid. And basically, a couple of nights before, and by the way, I've been in law enforcement for 25 years, so the credibility is there. We went out jackrabbit hunting with my cousins, and we did spot some lights, and they did mention things about, that we see them all the time, And a couple nights after that, I went out to a field to gather some alfalfa for a horse that I'd ridden all day, and I spotted what appeared to be a small person, but it had glowing amber red eyes. And it wasn't until I heard about the incident down in Brazil. I don't recall the name of the town.
Maybe the Varginha case, 1997?
Exactly. When I saw the pictures of those, it really scared the heck out of me. Because
now, what year do you remember? What year this happened to you?
Well, we always vacationed down there every summer, and it was around the summer of 1974 when this occurred.
Okay, coming back.
And what really caught my attention was the fact that, a couple of years ago I saw on the History Channel the saucer crash that occurred in just outside of Coyama, Mexico, and that just really blew my mind.
These things have gone down, it seems to me, in all parts of the world. As far as what you saw, sir, clearly if someone wanted to try to debunk your case, I'm sure they could make all kinds of attempts. But you're obviously aware that there are many claims by eyewitnesses to have seen glowing reddish types of eyes from these other creatures.
Right.
Not just Varginha. You get this a number of times. And it's just one of those stories that sounds so outrageous until you start going through the research and you find they pop up again and again. When you saw this, let me ask you, how did you react? How did this thing react? Did it see you? Did you interact with it in some way, or what?
It appeared to be floating, actually, and I dropped everything I had. I had a knife that I was cutting the alfalfa with, and I just turned and ran.
You just ran, yeah.
Probably it just scared the bejesus out of me. And when I got home, actually to the ranch, I told my grandmother about it. I told everyone about it, and basically they came up with you were bad, so the devil, And my grandmother actually sat down, and I wish I would have saved that little drawing that she drew. But she drew a little picture of what appeared to be an alien, and big eyes, the whole 9 yards. And I said, that's exactly what I saw. Of course, Spanish.
Is she saying that she saw the same thing at some point?
Well, no. The ironic thing is that she said that they would see them often in the ranch, and they would steal the salt licks, those big blocks of salt that they put out for the cattle.
Really?
Exactly. And that's always stuck in my mind since back then. I'm 49 years old now, and a lot of this stuff just never ceases to amaze me. And actually, even as a police officer, I don't want to say where I work, but you can get a pretty good idea. I emailed your show, or the show, in regard to an incident when I was listening to the Nye incidents, an investigation that I had up in the Griffith Park area. And that's a whole other story.
Mm-hmm.
But
now you just told us where you are, but that's okay.
You're busted, man.
Well, a lot of my friends...
Thank you, though. Seriously, that's, a very fascinating encounter. And I don't know what one can do with it. You have to live with that and digest that probably for the rest of your life.
Why do people, Richard, weigh the perception of witnesses? Here's my example. Very credible. He's a police officer, right?
Right.
But is his testimony, is his eyewitness account any more possible or plausible than, let's say, a guy who works at a fast food store or anything like that? If you heard the two, I bet 85% of the public, maybe more, would believe the account of the police officer than the other guy. And they're probably both compelling stories.
I agree with you totally, George. And both of us have spoken with many, many people firsthand, face-to-face, who've had incredible stories. In my daily life, people find out that I'm this UFO researcher, they'll tell me a story. Let me tell you what I saw 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whenever.